part of the way it works is, you know, like Rack asked why do some games have better retro scenes than others? And one answer is because of how things changed post SF4. The thing is, Street Fighter 4 produced a shift because of the, like, it feels disingenuous to say quote-unquote esports, but because of the shift that it creates for players. It's a variety of reasons. It's not just, like, one. So whereas, like, for Third Strike, for example, there weren't, like, you're not going to find players who were getting paid or hooked up like that based around Third Strike. Basically, if you wanted to play Third Strike, it was because you wanted to play Third Strike. So you can observe this, like, games before the shift in the early 2010s. There wasn't pressure like that to follow the bouncing ball and, you know, okay, this quote-unquote, this product's over. This product starts. I got to do this product, right? When those kinds of scenes are driven just by how much they like the game, and that was really it. It's going to pop a lot harder, and especially like now when you compare it like retro scenes. That kind of scene is going to pop differently than one where it was part of a almost like corporately organized series of things. And then, okay, company dictates this game's over. This game starts now. We're not going to make anything off of this when we want to push this one. Okay, out with the old, in with the new. That shit influenced players, you know, decisions on what they want to spend their time on. When you go from a game that is kind of like in some ways dependent on that shit versus games that didn't have that, or where it was, you know, kind of like fostered almost, it makes sense. What's stopping SF5 fans from being like Capcom is, well, let's just start patching the netplay patch again? What's stopping them? What is stopping them? I don't know. I think drive. That's what I'm saying. That's what a lot of that boils down to. So some people, they don't like the direction of the new game. Fine. Oh yeah, we're going to do the revival. You have to have a lot of players who are just, they really liked that game to do that. And you know, so like think about this. You got to have people who are going to put up their time, their money, their energy, their quan on the backs of just like, we like the game. To do that when players are going to get more heavily rewarded for just hopping onto the next one. So then it kind of takes that like, well, shit, do I really like this game that much more? When it's straight up put, you know, side by side and you have to compare what you do like that with your time. It's like, well, I don't think so, man. Yeah, you know, I think the large majority of Capcom players are bums. This is not my comment. I'm just reading out loud. They speak of a love they will not put towards actually putting the... Yeah, I guess that's kind of what I'm saying, though, is like, it's really easy it's easy to get on Twitter and talk about how much you care about the... I'm just saying, this is not to pat myself on the back either, by the way. But I'm going to put it this way. I don't talk about it a lot, but I kind of learned early on, even in Xrd, bruh, I was hopping on a train to go to Mikado to plan shit for 45 minutes. I bought mad shit with my own money. I can't tell you like how many times I would go there and be like, fuck, I really want to play right now, but I can't because we have to set this thing up. And when I think about how much time and energy and effort and money that shit was, I'm like, I know these soft-ass motherfuckers talking about SF5, they are not built that way. Like, straight up. I still play T7. Yeah, and I'm saying, like, if that's how you feel, yeah, then just boot the game up, shit. Then there's nothing wrong with that. I just play BBCL. If I really feel like playing Xrd, I can just boot up Xrd. You know, it's not like that. But trying to be like, the revolution starts now. You know, like, I don't think that works how you think it does. The way the community works now, there's infrastructure around it to where some retro scenes are just naturally going to have a harder time. There's a lot of work that goes into that, and you need a village to do that shit. So you need it's got to be a game that really, really has a scene built on that shit. And for some of these games, especially for ones that came out in the 2010s, that's just harder to come by. Especially if your scene has evolved in a way to where players eventually started getting rewarded in ways to where if those monetary rewards, or even, it doesn't even necessarily have to be monetary in the same way. If the reward isn't there for their time, they're not going to do that. Especially if they're older players with more responsibilities now. That's just how it is. You can definitely tell there are some games and some scenes where as soon as the marketing budget dries up, the passion for the game evaporates almost immediately. Bamco never does anything to spotlight their old games. Yeah, that plays a role in it too. Accessibility for sure. But that's also probably by design on some level. But also, I don't buy that that would make a significant difference, dude. Do you think right now, if you could play T3, Tag 1, T5, all online with NetPlay right now in a package. I mean, didn't they already do this and it didn't work that way, right? I think it's a fairy tale to me if you guys think that it'll work that way. It's not to say that some of those games wouldn't have consistent player bases either. But the revolution, we're going to undo, like, everybody's going to stop playing Tekken 8 and go back to T5. Like, that can't work that way. Bro, Knee is not going to stop playing Tekken 8 to play. It's just not. It's just like it's not. It's a fairy tale thing. Now, here's the thing. Is it cool for if some players just want to stay and play like that? Yeah, that's fine. And that's great, too. But for you to be like, this ain't real, this ain't real Street Fighter. This is real Street Fighter. Now, look, we're going to rise up. Everybody's going to... Bruh, listen, if all the people on Twitter that talk about what real Street Fighter is actually played the games that have what they're looking for, you would see a lot more of them playing CVS 2. Why? But you don't see that. Why is that? Granted, accessibility issues aside, but hey, there's a collection coming up. Let's see how many of them are still playing after month 2. Like, what's an example? Let's say Virtua Fighter 6 drops, right? Virtua Fighter drops and it doesn't have an ecosystem that can adequately compete with the rewards that Street Fighter 6 is giving players. Even if a Fudo or a Itazan really want to play it like that, post year 2, let's say, where the marketing budget dries up, are they going to be able to justify that? Especially somebody with a kid and wife? I don't see it. Which makes it important, for Sega, you have to give players something to play for. You have to be able to have some kind of meaningful reward system for playing your game now. For a lot of these people and some of these people, and you can tell, if you really look, you can tell, it might not necessarily be the game that they're going to say, man, this game, it's nothing like Street Fighter V. Well, Street Fighter V was that shit. It's almost like through glass. You can really see what they're trying to say. They miss when the spotlight was on them. They miss when they were traveling to all these places and it was a new sensation for them. It was something new, something fresh, and it's something that they hadn't experienced like that before. That's really what they miss sometimes. Have I said anything stupid this stream?